Alright, today we're going to take a look at some more free-to-play only gameplay in Customs. It's been a while since I've recorded any runs of these, but that's mostly because I'm just working through the backlog of footage. This was recorded a while ago, along with a lot of the other free-to-play stuff. So yeah, probably time that I should be recording some new stuff for this kind of mini-series. But the unit we're going to look at today is the Tarantula Hawk. Now, I'll show its ability in the next shop phase, but this is a unit that I think it was originally introduced in the Star Pack revamp on the test server, but then it ended up getting replaced by something else, I forget exactly what. But here's the ability: Tarantula Hawk, start of battle, remove 1 health from all enemies for every 10 attack this has. So initially that sounds like it could be quite good, because you're removing health from every enemy. However, in practice, it's pretty bad. And the reason it's bad is that you have to scale it to high attack for it to do very much at all. Actually, I think if it has less than 10 attack, it doesn't do anything, which is kind of unusual. I think probably it should be adjusted to be more like Lionfish, where it has a baseline amount of stat reduction that it does regardless. But either way, even though it isn't a very good unit, it still is usable. And one of the ways that we can enable it is to take Dodo. Now, there was a comment just the other day, someone asking why I hadn't played Dodo for a while. Well, I guess it's mainly just because it's a turtle pack unit and I don't normally take it. I think it is one of those units that it probably does make it quite a bit easier to win in Customs if you take a unit like Dodo. There are so many higher tier pets that have attack scaled abilities. So I just generally don't put it in packs. But there are some specific use cases for it, and this is definitely one of them. So what we're going to do, I think I'm actually going to keep both Dodos here and run a chain. And then we'll look for the Tarantula Hawk as soon as we can, which will be turn 7 because it's tier 5. When it was first released, I did think it was tier 6, so I was always surprised to see it on turn 7 on a level up. Maybe it was tier 6 on the test server and then it got changed, I don't know. So I think, yeah, we're probably going to lose here. Yeah, they had too many stats. Oh, it's Carve, probably a random pack. So I'm going to take the level up with the snail now. We did lose, so that's perfect timing. Not entirely sure what I've got the pill frozen for here. Maybe it's just for turtle. And I take the cow instead of the croc. And I think that's mainly because I'm more interested in the ability of the Tarantula Hawk being the deciding factor instead of just winning by crocodile snipes. So we've got our triple dodo chain going. I think eventually it's going to get downgraded to only 2 dodos. I think we're going to be okay here. The high attack definitely does help against these extreme health stack teams, you know, the leech camels of the world, the eels and so on. We get the dodo now, so we can take another level up. But it doesn't look like I'm going to do it now. Yeah, that probably makes sense. We should just wait for tier 6. We're probably going to need a good tier 6 to help us get this build over the line. My opponent cooking something up with Pink Robin here, although it doesn't look like they had any end turn units there. Greeting with Flounder as well, you love to see it. I think that's what we're going to do as well, as we find a Flounder in the shop, and we get Alpaca 2. So Snail can go, and then we'll get ready for level 2 Flounder. I really need the Tarantula Hawk to get to a high level very quickly, because at level 1 its ability is terrible, even if we give it 50 attack from the dodos. You know, if you think about it, that would be removing 5 attack from every pet on the opposing team, which is absolutely awful. Level 3 Sea Urchin removes 5 attack from 3 pets, and you can very easily get that online compared to Tarantula Hawk. So we take a quick look at the pack there. That is helpful because there's a decent chance that I don't have this pack code anymore. At least you can pause and reconstitute the pack if you want to. And if I do happen to have it, it will be in the description. So you can save yourself some time if we get lucky and the pack code is still in my folder. So now we lose there, and not surprising, we've got very little health other than on 1 unit. And am I going to go for... Okay, I guess we're just going to play the Flounder at the front for now, until we get into the position to bring in the Tarantula Hawk. And then Mammoth as well. Actually, probably makes more sense to play, to give Mammoth the stats from the Dodos, because it has such a good starting health. But luckily we get away with it anyway. And I think, am I going to take this cat? Or maybe I'm just going to go for double level 3 Dodo. Okay, we're going to go for level 2 Mammoth instead. We can't wait around all day hoping to find the Tarantula Hawk, and once we sell the Flounder we can actually get 1 experience from the Alpaca onto the T-Hawk that way. So we're getting plenty of experience here, just not onto the units that we specifically want. And okay, I'm going to take that Mammoth as well. Mammoth does help offset the fact that we have so little health on the squad. Opposing Mammoth, Anubis, although luckily they don't have Frostwolf. And the Melon on the Dodo allows us to knock out their back 2 units. So yeah, we combine, we're almost at double level 3 Dodo. And there is the Tarantula Hawk, finally. Now we do have level 2 Alpaca as well, so I can just buy the Tarantula Hawk, but it looks like I'm going to greed for the Gelada buffs. I think that was a bit of a mistake. Yeah, maybe I didn't realise that I still had level 2 Alpaca there. I should have just taken the Tarantula Hawk right there and then. Another Mammoth. Strange coincidence. But we have super high attack at this point, so even though they've got Tiger Mammoth, we're going to be able to knock out these pretty sizable units. So now I think, okay, we get the Gelada as well. That's perfect. I think I could probably sell both the Alpaca and the Gelada here and bring in the T-Hawk straight away, but looks like I'm going to keep them for another turn. Now this is a much stronger looking team. I think we're going to lose the Dodo, yeah, instantly. But we still win. So actually that puts us on 8 and we haven't even bought the Tarantula Hawk yet. So we could have executed this plan a little bit better. But now we get the immediate level 2. And with double level 3 Dodo, the Tarantula Hawk should be getting pretty close to max attack. Again, I tried to end turn there when I have some gold remaining. Maybe we could take this Harpy Eagle to have a summon at the back. The Alpaca doesn't do anything now that the Mammoth's level 3. We put everything down to almost 1 HP, just the Cerberus left on 2. However, it is a summon team and we kind of are a little bit susceptible to that, because we don't have any garlic. And they have a double parrot, and they have parrot turkey, but we do scrape the win. So now, yeah, it's probably too late to think about getting level 3 Tarantula Hawk. We just need to find something else. It looks like I'm going to go for Seagull Mushroom on the Mammoth. The Tarantula Hawk, I think, is already getting up to 50 attack, so giving the Dodo stats doesn't actually affect the Tarantula Hawk's ability. Yeah, I'm just keeping the Seagull frozen in case we manage to get a mushroom in shop. The choices are oyster mushroom or garlic, both of which don't do a whole lot for us. So it looks like I'm just going to take Cuckoo instead, which I think is a pretty solid base stats unit to take. And then we end up matching with a 70-70 Behemoth here. I don't think we're going to be able to deal with that. Or maybe we are? Okay, I guess we are. And it's going to be a tie. That was quite a scary team, but I guess they had invested everything into the Behemoth. So we do actually end up getting level 3 Tarantula Hawk in the end. And at level 3, Tarantula Hawk will remove 15 health, I think it is, from every unit. Okay, I don't know why I didn't just go straight for the level 3 there. Very unusual. Triple scaler on this opposing side. Yeah, it would have been great to have had level 3 Tarantula Hawk, so who knows what was behind that play. That is one of the downsides of commentating on these things months afterwards, that it's very difficult to remember what I was actually trying to do. Yeah, clearly I'm looking for something specific here, but I should just be taking the level up on both of these units and not messing around, because the Cuckoo counters some of the summon teams that could be a problem for a squad like this. Even stranger that I end up using the chocolate there on the Tarantula Hawk instead of the Tarantula Hawk that I've got frozen. Maybe I was just concerned there about the health on the Dodo, that it got one shot through Melon in the previous battle. I don't know. Hard to fathom sometimes looking at these old recordings. But here's another team that gets reduced down to almost 1 HP on everything. They do have some very big mana snipes, but the size of the units in general just isn't big enough. And we're going to win with the cow left at the back. So some suspect plays on the final rounds there, but there's a level 3 Tarantula Hawk win with just free-to-play units. Now let's move on to something a little bit more interesting, I think. Now there aren't a huge number of different pets that are going to synergize with Tarantula Hawk outside of the scalers. You know, if you play monkey or cat with Tarantula Hawk, clearly that's going to make a lot of sense. But in terms of the ability pets, I'm not really sure there's anything other than Dodo that makes a huge amount of sense. However, we are going to try and do something here with one of the OG free-to-play units that is very seldom seen. And that is the hyena. So, I mean, at any given time, I probably have 3 or 4 different hyena builds in mind that I would like to go for. In practical terms, though, most of them are almost impossible to execute in custom packs. Maybe at some point there'll be a hyena weekly, and we can... actually, there maybe have been some hyena weeklies that I've just missed out on. But looks like here we're going to lose by 1 HP. Yeah. So what I wanted to do in this one is have the Tarantula Hawk reduce the attack, the health on everything, and then the hyena swap the stats over. So they get reduced health, but then that converts into low attack once the stats are swapped over. And then of course you can do stuff with that using, chili or some of the other ways to benefit from multiple attacks. I don't remember exactly what I was going for in this specific run, but you can definitely do a few sneaky tactics with the hyena because it's so rarely played. People just don't expect it. So there is the hyena. We'll take the level up on the Tarantula Hawk first. And we're getting a bit of a health top up from the rabbit as well. I don't think I'm going to bother trying to get higher level hyena. I just want it for the stat swap ability. As we face Meta Brusk here with double front Dodo. And then the stat reduction plus the snipe on the hedgehog at the back ends up killing one of the Dodos outright. Maybe here I'm just going to sell the rabbit and bring in the hyena. Yeah, we'll just buy the melon to replace the turtle. And what are we going to do? I guess I need the hyena. The attack ordering here does matter a bit, because what we want to happen is the snipes to go off first, which ends up knocking stuff out, and then the stuff that doesn't get knocked out should end up with its with a very low attack stat because the stats are swapped over. I guess there are a couple of different ways you can approach this, but I think that was what I was intending here. And I'm taking melon a bit more frequently than I would normally. You know, when you're playing free to play, you need to take some of the strongest stuff to give yourself a chance. So yeah, now the hyena is going to go before the parrot, but not necessarily before the lynx. Yeah, looked like in that situation the lynx did go second, I think. But the health has been reduced so much on the kangaroo here that it's going to be an easy win. I think you could do some really crazy stuff with this if you got like an incredible high roll where you had, 2 Tarantula Hawks that were scaled up massively, and then you had a hyena triggering in between. That would be the ideal, but I think in practical terms that's very tough to make it happen. So yeah, you would reduce all the health, swap the stats over, and then reduce the health a second time, so all of their units would go down in both statistics. I don't think I even got any clips of that though, although I did play this quite a few times to try and get usable footage. Hyena just doesn't really lend itself to that. Unfortunately here they end up getting Platypus from the random spawn, so we're going to lose against the Vulture team. But I mean, that's why you take the Orca in the first place. So yeah, Cat just to try and boost the Tarantula Hawk's attack as high as we can get it. Yeah, up to 30 means now that we're gonna reduce 6 health, I think, from everything. Which for a 30 attack tier 5 is still pretty bad. I mean, I guess Kraken affects your own team as well, but overall it's just much, much easier to use. However, this is pretty funny. The Hyena by itself does way better work than the Tarantula Hawk, because against the Crab Bulldog team, we swap the stats over on the Bulldog, making it incredibly susceptible to getting sniped. So that actually puts us on 9 wins. Probably a bit late to go for level 3 Tarantula Hawk, but with the Parrot plus the Tarantula Hawk, we're kind of getting a similar effect anyway. We just need some favourable matchups here at the end to have a good chance. Turn 15, this squad is relatively weak, especially since I did swap the Parrot from copying the Lynx to copying the Tarantula Hawk. We do get lucky here getting matched with the 4 squad, although it's level 3 Macaque. And I think, are we gonna? No, I think the Macaque, the orangutan is just too big here. Yeah. So that puts us down to 1 heart. And I think this time I'm not going to make the same mistake and we're just going to go straight for level 3 Tarantula Hawk. And then freeze up some food for next turn in case we get a miracle draw. But look at this for an opponent. They have peanut butter on the front units, but the stat swap means that the peanut butter doesn't one-shot through the melon. You need 21 attack to instant kill through melon with peanut. And the Hyena stat swap perfectly counters that Death Touch team. Probably one of the luckiest matchups I've had this entire year so far. And then since it's a free-to-play video, we're just going to quickly gift a pack to one of my recent free-to-play opponents in customs. And who knows, maybe one of you will be next.